RPG rules tutorial number 4, looking at the RPG settings object, and we're going to have a look at ranks and level conning. So this is where you can set up the basic sort of information about the enemies you're going to have in the game and different characters and so on. Now, in custom enum CS, in the root of the scripting folder, we have this enumeration for ranks here. So these are the different types of characters you can have in the game. You know, we've got none for props, minions, lieutenants, boss and super boss for enemies and then players there. And they all appear in this ranks list in the RPG settings object in resources. And for each of them you can basically set what the hit points are, what the standard reward table to use is for each of them, and that's it. Yeah, so I mean, props by default have 20 hit points unless you specify otherwise. If we have a look at a prop, let's go into the scene in 3D. They're in level. What have we got? A metal crate here. That prefab has been set up with, in its prop, with 50 hit points. If we leave it at 0, it just goes and takes the value for the type of object it is from the RPG settings object. You know, like if you create a character as a minion, they will by default have, where's that information gone? 20 hit points, 40 hit points, and so on. One thing to note here, since we're dishing out hit points, these are scales. These scales of, you know, 200 hit points for a player, 20 for a minion, and so on, are kind of important for the AI. So if you go and make these numbers all 100 times bigger, the AI is going to preferentially prefer doing damage over doing mez attacks or buffs or whatever. I'm not sure how to fix that yet, so try to keep them around this sort of range. These reward tables, these are basically the rewards given by a standard minion. A standard minion, for example, will dish out some, you know, has a 5% chance of dropping something from the Cyberfy table based on level. 5% chance of dropping a boost from the minor table, gives 20 XP. Has a 100% chance of dropping between 2 to 5 system credits, which is one of the currencies in the game, and so on and so on. They can be overridden on a per character basis as well. Yeah, so that's where you set up the different types of ranks of characters. Say I want to make a new one. Say I want to have giant monster in here. Spell that correctly, giant monster. You will see now, when we go back to the RPG rule settings object, where is it? I'll go back to it here. When we go back to that object, we'll now have an entry for giant monster automatically there. So we could give them 2,000 hit points, and they, you know, drop from the super boss rewards, or we make a new reward table for them or whatever. So yeah, this is one of these magic arrays that'll update to whatever you do with that enumeration. Right, I'll just talk about level conning quickly. Kind of related subject. So each character has a level. The player characters level up. Enemies tend to spawn about the same level as the player. And what level conning does, it determines what it's like to fight an enemy of higher or lower level. The default settings are, for every level you are above the target you're trying to hit, you're 5% more accurate, 5% harder to hit a target who's +1 above you, who cons +1 to you. That's the word used in RPGs. If you're attacking a character lower level than you get a 10% damage bonus for each level. You do minus 10% damage to characters higher level than you, and the XP given out is 15% better for each level that they're above you, or 15% less for each level they're below you. These con colours here are used for enemies' names. So if we click on an enemy, on this test dummy, we can see his name appears in white. If we find him in the scene and cheekily change his level, he's over here. Let's see if we can, still on the canvas. If we click on him here, what have we selected now? Yep, we've got the test dummy selected there. So he's got a level of -1. If we make him level 5 and go back to the game, his name's now appearing in purple. If we make him level 4, it's red. 3, it's red. 2, it's orange. 1, it's yellow. Because we're level 0 currently, it's a sort of neutral character. -2, it's blue. -1, it's okay. -3, it becomes grey. So these colours show you how enemy names change with level. That lowest con, -3, means that this first element, the grey, corresponds to -3 characters conning -3 or below. Blue means you're conning at -2, green conning at -1, white is even conning, yellow, orange, red, and finally purple for +1, +2, +3, and +4 and above enemies. So that's just setting up the behaviour of what it's like to fight enemies who are a different level from you and how their names appear in the UI. So that's a quick overview of ranks and level conning there.